Good morning, and welcome to Tuesday's Ability with 411 with Erika. This week we're talking about traveling, which is actually a subject that I know quite a lot about. And I hope that for anybody that's watching this, maybe somebody that works at a hotel or in any transportation departments, might think about these things after watching my video, and also to give those of you in chairs who maybe are thinking about traveling, haven't really traveled much, some heads up on some things to look for. One of the biggest things that's always bothered me is actually hotels. I've stayed in many hotels over the past years and have seriously thought about getting in touch with some of the bigger hotel corporations, especially locally where I live here in North Carolina, and doing a run through with them and showing them things to think about. I know that to make a handicap accessible room, I'm sure it's an able-bodied person that does it, because it's usually the maid or whoever that puts the towels away, cleans the showers. And so, somebody who's not disabled is not going to think about the things that are important for somebody that are in a chair and that can't stand up. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I go into a accessible room and go into the bathroom, and of course, I'm super duper excited because my chair fits through the doorway, which always is a plus. But then I go to take a shower and I'm by myself in the hotel room, and the towels are on the highest shelf. Makes absolutely no sense at all. So there I am in the hotel room using hangers or whatever I can to be able to have go-go gadget arms and, be able to reach the towels. Most of the time I end up knocking them down. Not very accessible. So, another one is they always have the shower heads that, come down so that somebody who's sitting will be able to, use the shower. Every time, and I can honestly say every time, the shower head is up and attached. So here goes Erika doing everything I can to get the shower head down. Most of the time, I get it down, but sometimes, no, not so much. So it's just do what you got to do. Sometimes I just sit in the bottom of the bathtub, but I know for some people, they may not be able to get in and out of the bathtub as easily as I'm able to. So I guess we can call that a hotel party foul. Generally, when I travel by plane because it's the quickest and easiest way for me to go. And, 9 times out of 10, I have a great experience flying. I've never really had a lot of bad experiences. I can maybe think of a couple. Number one is being on the plane and having to pee really bad. Still having maybe an hour or so of flight left. You're just not going to make it. And there's no aisle chair. Like I said, doesn't happen very often. I actually believe that, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty positive that through the ADA, all airplanes are supposed to have an aisle chair. But sometimes even having an aisle chair doesn't help, because there are flight attendants who aren't necessarily trained to know how to use the aisle chair. Really funny story. Really short story, but it's funny. I think it is anyway. I'm on a plane, and they finally figure out, after me telling them that there is an aisle chair on the plane, and then they get it out, and they don't know how to unfold it. They don't know how to use it. So frustrating. So, yeah, I made it to the bathroom, safe and sound on an aisle chair. But there was one incident where they didn't have an aisle chair, and I had to pee so bad that I just said, you know what, it's fine. And I got in the aisle and hobbled my way on my bottom to the bathroom, did what I had to do. Definitely wasn't the most conventional answer, but it made me feel better. So, yeah, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But that, that's just one thing to kind of keep your head up, and look out for when traveling by plane. I always make sure that no matter what, I believe Tiffany said this yesterday, but make sure you go to the bathroom before you get on the plane. Always, always a very good idea. Another thing as far as planes is the flight attendants generally are always trained, but sometimes the people at the airport aren't so much. And one time I flew into Washington Dulles Airport in DC, and this is a nightmare trip. I had a red-eye flight from LA in the middle of the night. I was exhausted. I just wanted to get home, and I'm the first one that they put on the plane, and I'm usually the last one off because it's more convenient for the other passengers to get off, because it does take so much time to get the aisle chair and then get me in the aisle chair and all that happy stuff. So I'm patiently waiting, like I said, exhausted. And the people from Washington Dulles Airport, from the airline I was flying on, I believe it was American Airlines, came to get me. Well, the two people that came to assist me, neither one of them spoke very good English at all. And the guy automatically, and this has got to be against some kind of rules, but the guy automatically went to go pick me up and put me in the aisle chair. And I was just like, no, I got this. Trust me, I got this. My legs might not work, but my arms do. And, the other thought that came to my mind was, hello, I'm a human. You didn't even attempt to ask me, ma'am, what do you need assistance with? And, I don't think that it was necessarily, him over-separating his boundaries. He was trying to be helpful, and I guess just automatically assumed that since my legs didn't work, neither did my arms. Not really quite sure, but yeah, I was a little perturbed, to say the least. So yeah, those are some of my experiences of flying on the plane. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, I am very, very pleased with the way I'm treated. My favorite airline, I've got to give a little shout out, is AirTran. I love AirTran just because they're very well trained and very respectful, and I've never really had a chance. They've actually gone above and beyond for me many times. So whenever I can fly AirTran, that's the choice for me. I have ridden, on a train once, maybe twice, and also on a bus. And I actually used to we have what's called CCTS, Cabarrus County Transportation System, here where I live in North Carolina. And that was the way for a while that I got back and forth to work, was they would come pick me up, and they had, totally accessible vans. And I got to be friends actually with a couple of the drivers. And even though I don't utilize those services anymore, I still keep in touch with these people, and they were absolutely amazing and very well trained. And, that's always a good thing, a very good thing, when traveling, is to have people who are trained to deal with disabilities. I can't stress that enough. Train your employees' transportation system. So important to us. So important. The train, was a really great experience. It actually was a train that runs along the Pacific Coast in California. So I'm sure some of you guys are, familiar with that. It was a beautiful ride, and I was treated awesome. And, they tied my chair down, which is normally what they do. They have tethers that come up and like belt type things, seatbelt type things that hook to your wheels on your chair and keep it so that your chair doesn't move. And generally I get out of my chair and into a normal seat, even though they still have to tie my chair down. So obviously it doesn't go anywhere. I'm able to transfer, and a lot of times I'm a lot more comfortable sitting in a regular seat as opposed to, in my chair when I'm traveling. So yeah, just some things to keep your eyes open for and be aware of. The New York City, New York metro area at the not at the hotel, but at the airport, and to leave the airport when you're in the New York City area, I have to say is an absolute nightmare. I was turned down for several taxi cabs. Yeah, in the New York City area, which is everybody gets around by taxis. And I was actually turned down for a ride several times because they didn't have a car that was accessible. And I'm going, wait a minute, it doesn't have to necessarily be accessible for me as long as I can open the door and hop over, transfer into the car. My chair breaks down. But yeah, they were like, no, can't, sorry. So that was kind of disappointing, especially being in such a huge populated area where transportation is very, very important, because I don't know, but I know me, granted, I don't live in New York City, but I wouldn't be willing to drive in New York City unless I absolutely had to. So yeah, public transportation probably needs to step it up a couple notches in New York City. But that's my take on transportation. I hope you have been enlightened. I hope that I have maybe answered some questions. Obviously, if you have some more questions, comments, want to know anything else, please email us at ability411@gmail.com. We check it all the time and are pretty quick to replying. Maybe next week, we'd like to hear what you want to hear about. What are some of your concerns? And not necessarily about transportation, but any subject. Give us some ideas, because we're always open. And until next Tuesday, keep rolling.